My fiancée told me, "I can't marry you. You're only a teacher and all my friends' husbands are executives." I replied, "I understand." Then I gave back the ring, cashed out the house deposit she had never helped with, and booked a solo vacation to Italy. 6 months later, she saw my new girlfriend, a doctor who genuinely loved that I was just a teacher. Original post. I'm a 32-year-old male who has taught high school English for 8 years. I truly enjoy it. Sure, the salary isn't executive level, but after my master's degree, I earn a solid $58,000. I coach the debate team, manage the literary magazine, and love seeing students realize they actually enjoy reading when introduced to the right books. My fiancée and I had been together for 4 years and engaged for 1. We first met at a friend's birthday celebration. She works in pharmaceutical sales and earns around $95,000 including bonuses. From the very beginning, she knew exactly what I did for a living. I never tried to hide it or act like someone else. Last month, we were supposed to be finishing our wedding arrangements. The venue was booked, deposit paid, and save-the-date cards sent out. Then came the dinner party with her college friend group. They have this monthly rotation where couples take turns hosting. Her friends are married to a VP of marketing, a financial analyst, and a tech startup founder. They seemed pleasant enough, but every get-together felt like an unspoken contest I hadn't signed up for. That evening, one husband was boasting about his Tesla Model S Plaid, while another described their recent ski vacation in Aspen. When someone asked about our honeymoon plans, I mentioned we were considering a road trip through the national parks, something I had always dreamed of doing. An uncomfortable silence followed. One of the husbands joked about roughing it, and the whole group laughed. My fiancée laughed along, louder than necessary. On the drive home, she stayed quiet, unusually quiet. Back at her apartment, she sat me down and delivered a speech she had clearly practiced. "I've been thinking about this for some time. I can't marry you, I'm sorry, but you're just a teacher. My friends' husbands are all executives and partners, men who are going places. I love you, but love alone isn't enough. I need someone who can provide the lifestyle I want and the respect my friends have." I sat there silently for about 30 seconds, absorbing her words. "What about the wedding, the deposits?" "The house fund?" I asked. "We can sort that out later," she said. "This is difficult for me too." The house fund, right. That was $34,000 I had saved over 3 years. Every dollar had come from my own account. She had contributed exactly 0. There was always some excuse, car payments, student loans, or the designer handbag she needed for work. I looked at her carefully and realized something important. I wasn't heartbroken. I felt relieved. The heavy feeling in my stomach that I had blamed on wedding stress suddenly made perfect sense. "I understand," I said. She blinked in surprise. "That's it." "You just understand?" "Yes," I replied. "I understand." I stood up, picked up the engagement ring she had already removed and placed on the coffee table and slipped it into my pocket. "That's my ring," she protested. "Actually, it's mine until we're married, which we're not going to be. You can't just take it. Watch me." I walked out, drove home, and felt strangely calm, as if a heavy fog had finally lifted. The next morning, I went to work as usual. I took the ring back to the jeweler. It had originally cost $4,200. They offered $2,800 for the buyback since it was custom-made. Not perfect, but I accepted the cash. The house fund was entirely in my name, so I simply transferred the full $34,000 into my regular checking account. The wedding deposits were more complicated. The venue deposit of $3,500 was in both our names. I called them, explained the breakup, and they were understanding but said cancellation required both signatures or the deposit would be lost. I texted my ex-fiancée asking her to sign the cancellation form. Her reply, "I'm not signing anything, you can lose your half." Interesting, my half, even though I had paid the entire amount. I called the venue again and explained the situation. The coordinator was helpful, and after I sent proof of payment from my credit card, the manager agreed to refund $2,500 after an administrative fee. The photographer's $800 deposit was solely in my name, and I recovered it in full. Same with the DJ's $400. In total, I recovered around $6,500 plus the entire house fund. That Friday, I booked a solo trip to Italy for 2 weeks: Rome, Florence, and Venice. I flew business class for the first time in my life, stayed in nice hotels, and ate at Michelin-starred restaurants I had always wanted to experience. The whole trip cost about $8,000. I still had over $30,000 left in savings. As a teacher who lives within his means and doesn't need a Tesla to feel successful, I could afford it. I posted one photo from the Colosseum with the caption, "Sometimes the best journeys begin when you stop heading in the wrong direction." It was vague, but anyone who knew the situation understood. My phone exploded with messages. Her friends called me petty. Her sister texted that I was making her look bad. My ex called me an immature little boy who couldn't handle rejection gracefully. I blocked them all, ordered another glass of Chianti, and watched the sunset over Rome. Being just a teacher felt pretty damn good right then. Update 1: 3 weeks later, I returned from Italy feeling refreshed, tanned, and surprisingly optimistic. I unpacked, did laundry, and prepared for the new school year. Then the messages began. Apparently, my ex had been sharing a very different story with everyone. According to her, I had suddenly ended the engagement because I felt intimidated by her success. She claimed I had stolen the house fund that was meant for both of us and manipulated her into returning the ring. Her mother even called my mother. My mom politely told her exactly where she could take her concerns and hung up. The real drama came when her friends started contacting mutual acquaintances to check her side of the story. My buddy, married to one of her college friends, gave me the full picture over beers. "Dude, she's falling apart. She thought you'd fight for her and beg her to take you back. She told everyone you two were just on a break while you worked things out. Then your Italy photo dropped and she lost it. She broke up with me because I'm just a teacher." He shook his head. "She's twisting it. Saying she suggested couples counseling and you refused. There was never any counseling suggestion. She had clearly told me I wasn't successful enough." My friend's expression changed. "She actually said that word for word? Yes, I can't marry you, you're just a teacher." The following week things escalated. I received a letter from her lawyer demanding the return of shared assets, including $17,000 as her equitable share, plus the engagement ring. I nearly laughed. I called my friend who practices contract law. He reviewed everything and said it was nonsense. The savings account was solely in my name with all deposits from me. No joint agreement existed. The ring was a conditional gift, and the condition hadn't been met. It was mine. I paid him $300 to send a response letter explaining why her claims had no legal basis. If she wanted to sue, she was free to waste her money. Her lawyer never replied. The bluff failed, but she wasn't finished. The next Saturday, while I was grading papers at my usual coffee shop, she walked in with her sister. She made a straight line to my table. "We need to talk." "I don't think we do. You got a lawyer involved, seriously." "This is what we've become? You sent me a lawyer letter demanding $17,000 I don't owe you." Her sister jumped in. "She's just trying to get what's fair." "You two were building a life together." "Were we?" "Because she told me I was just a teacher and she needed someone her friends would respect." The sister's face changed. Clearly that part hadn't been shared. "That's not exactly what I said," my ex started. "That's exactly what you said, word for word." It was the moment I realized I had wasted 4 years with someone who never truly respected me. She turned red. I was stressed. "Wedding planning is overwhelming and you weren't helping. I paid for everything, every deposit, the house fund, all from me, the ring, me. You contributed nothing and then said I wasn't successful enough." Her sister actually stepped back. "Wait, you didn't put anything into the house fund? That's not the point. It kind of is the point when you're demanding half of it." My ex grabbed her sister's arm. "Let's go." "He's clearly not going to be reasonable." "I'm being perfectly reasonable. I'm not giving you money that was never yours," she stormed out. Her sister followed, looking far less confident than when they arrived. I returned to grading papers and finished my coffee. The barista, who had seen everything, brought me a free muffin. Rough day. It was actually getting better. Update 2: 3 months later the school year began, and the fall semester reminded me exactly why I love this job. A fresh group of juniors who think they hate literature until the right book changes their minds. That moment of discovery never gets old. I focused on work, friends, and my own life. Dating wasn't really on my mind. Then, at the debate team's first tournament, I met someone. She was there as a judge, a doctor on staff at the university hospital who volunteers for high school academic events when her schedule allows. We talked during a break. When she asked what I taught and I said English, her response was warm. "That's wonderful." Some of my favorite teachers growing up were English teachers. No pity, no subtle judgment, just genuine interest. We exchanged numbers, had coffee, then dinner, then more dinners. She's a pediatric surgery resident with incredibly demanding hours and high pressure. Yet she chooses to spend her limited free time judging high school debates because she believes it matters. On our third date, I gave her the short version of my previous relationship. She laughed in disbelief when I mentioned being told I wasn't successful enough because I'm a teacher. I make 3 times what my attending made at my age, and I'm miserable half the time. You know what I'd give for a job I actually look forward to? Where I help kids without watching some of them die? She looked at me seriously. It really is that simple. Money isn't success. Success is waking up without dreading your day. You have that, most people don't. I didn't know how to respond, so I just kissed her. She kissed me back. Meanwhile, through the grapevine, I learned my ex's life wasn't going as planned. Her perfect friend group was crumbling. The financial analyst's marriage was in trouble because of his 80-hour weeks. The startup guy lost his job when the company failed. The VP of marketing was having an affair with his assistant. The dinner parties stopped. The comparison game ended. My ex had started dating a portfolio manager she met at a networking event. Tall, sharp suits, BMW. Exactly the type she thought she wanted. He ended things after 6 weeks, saying he was emotionally unavailable and mainly interested in her appearance. Then came the Christmas party at my buddy's house. I brought my girlfriend. We had been together about 2 months, but it already felt steady and natural. My ex was there too, invited through a mutual connection with my buddy's wife. The moment we entered, I felt her eyes on us. My girlfriend looked beautiful in a simple green dress, her hospital ID still clipped to her bag after coming straight from her shift. When introductions were made and my buddy's wife said, "And this is his new girlfriend," my girlfriend extended her hand politely. "Nice to meet you." My ex shook it weakly. "What do you do?" "I'm a surgical resident in pediatrics." The expression on my ex's face was unforgettable. Not just because it felt satisfying, but because I watched her entire belief system crumble in that instant. The teacher she had rejected for not being successful enough was now with a doctor, a surgeon who, by her own standards, outranked every executive husband in her friend group. "That's nice," she managed. My girlfriend smiled warmly. "Thank you. I mostly just try not to faint during 36-hour shifts." He's actually the impressive one, making a real difference in children's lives while they're awake to appreciate it. She squeezed my hand. My ex looked like she had tasted something bitter. We mingled and enjoyed the evening. As we were leaving, my ex caught me alone near the Coates. "She seems nice." "She is. You moved on quickly." 6 months isn't quick, it's healthy." She paused. "I've been thinking about what I said that night. Maybe I was too harsh." "You weren't harsh, you were honest. You told me exactly what you valued." "I just didn't fit. No hard feelings." "I didn't mean it like that." "Yes, you did, and that's okay. You saved us both from a marriage that would never have worked." "I'm actually grateful." My girlfriend appeared with our coats. "Ready to go? I'm on call in 6 hours and I really need some sleep." We left together into the cold night air, her hand in mine. "That was her, wasn't it?" my girlfriend asked. "How could you tell?" "The way she looked at you, like she was doing calculations and didn't like the result. Probably wondering how just a teacher ended up with a doctor." She laughed and pulled me closer. "Please, I ended up with you." "I'm the lucky one." Before I started the car, she said, "That house fund you mentioned, you still have most of it." "Yes, why?" "Just thinking my lease ends in 4 months. Maybe we could start looking for a place together." I looked at this brilliant, hardworking, authentic woman who thought I was the impressive one. "Yeah," I said, "I'd like that." Final update, 6 months later, we bought a house, nothing extravagant. 3 bedrooms, a decent yard in a good school district. We split the down payment 50-50 because she insisted, even though I had more saved. "We're partners," she said. "That means equal." The difference still strikes me. 4 years with my ex, and she never put a single dollar toward our future home. 4 months into dating my girlfriend, and she was already making sure everything was fair. Moving day was chaotic but joyful. Her hospital colleagues and my teacher friends all pitched in. Someone brought beer, someone ordered pizza. It felt like real community, not a status competition. That night, lying on a mattress on the floor while waiting for furniture, she turned to me. "Are you happy?" "Yeah, really happy." "Good, me too." Simple, honest. No games, no performances, no comparing ourselves to others. Through the grapevine, I heard what happened with my ex. Her sister surprisingly reached out 6 weeks ago to apologize. She had learned the full story and felt bad about how she behaved at the coffee shop. According to her, my ex never really got over the Christmas party moment. She kept talking about how unfair it was that I had upgraded so fast. She went through 2 more relationships with men who looked good on paper but treated her badly. Last her sister heard, my ex had moved to another state for a lower-paying job that offered better work-life balance. The whole experience apparently made her reconsider some things. Whether that's real growth or just a convenient story, I don't know and I don't care. What I do know is this: when she called me just a teacher, she meant it as an insult, a way to dismiss who I am and what I've chosen. But here's the truth about being just a teacher. I get to watch young people discover that their voices matter. I get to come home at a reasonable hour to someone who loves me exactly as I am. I get to save money, travel when I want, and live without the constant pressure of appearances. My ex wanted a partner her friends would respect. She ended up alone, chasing approval from people whose own lives were collapsing. I wanted someone who would respect me. I found her. The house fund I built over 3 years helped us buy a home where neither of us has to pretend. The money from the ring went toward a better one. She said yes last month. We're planning a small ceremony with just the people we genuinely care about. No competition, no show. My ex was right about one thing: love isn't enough. You also need respect, shared values, and someone who sees your true worth, not just your paycheck. She just didn't realize she was describing everything she herself lacked. I'm still just a teacher. And I've never been happier.